Hello. Hi. Welcome to Monday morning. Let's see, it's the 23rd of March, and we are well into our new way of trying to stay connected. The social isolation for me, I don't know about for you, maybe if this is your only connection, and for some people it might be, I don't know. The social isolation has produced new and energetic efforts to make connections with each other. I find it interesting. It's just an interesting sort of side benefit, if you will. I don't say that to diminish anything of what your current situation might be. Again, go back to themes that I think I've talked about in various ways last week. I hope that I will not be in a position to take how I feel and how I see tomorrow and the next day and use it as a reason to judge you. If you're frightened and you're worried about running out of toilet paper or food, that's a legitimate fear. And so what I want to say is, I don't want you to feel like I think you're alone or that you think you're alone. You're not alone. There's hundreds of thousands of people who are in exactly the same situation. And so here at the church, we've been trying to create opportunities for you to raise your hand and to send a signal that says, you know what, I could use a little help. I don't really want to go out. The governor now, I don't know, these orders are changing, and I guess now, finally, the order is to just simply stay home. And by the way, I wanted to tell you that ever since 2 weeks ago on Sunday, my family and I have been doing that. We have been staying home. We've committed to that. And some of you might have wondered, the worship service yesterday, all you saw was me. Laura was in the background queuing up some of the changes for the camera, but our worship team was not here. I wanted you to know that was my decision. They weren't thrilled about that, but I really believe that of all the things that we can't do right now, the most important thing is to do the thing we can do. It's 2 simple steps. You've heard it 100 times. Wash your hands. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. And then stay home. Stay home. Unless it's an emergency. And if there's a way you can meet that need through some other way, it's still not only the right thing to do, it's the one thing that we can do, or 2 things that we can do. And it doesn't feel like much. Wow. If I'm understanding, and I'm sure you're listening to everything that is being said in every element of our society, it is, do a wonderful thing today. Just stay home. It's not in my nature, and it was not in the nature of the worship leaders. So I wanted you to know that they wanted to be here. But every one of us comes from a different place, and every one of us has been with different people. And I have been using this one guide, and that is, pretend that you have the virus. You have to live as if you have it, because you might, but live your life as if you have the virus. I don't want to give the virus to any of the staff. I don't. And so even though we would have kept safe distance from each other, I just made the call that they should stay at home. I'm sure it was frustrating for them to hear the attempt at producing a substitute for them. Recorded orchestras and soloists are no substitute for the wonder and beauty of our talented musicians that minister to us every week, and I miss them. And I miss you. I miss being together. One of the reasons I'm sitting where I am today is I'm jealous of all these pastors who took pictures of their congregation and posted them in the seats where they would normally sit. Now, what's behind me here, which I'm raising the camera up to, is, I know it has a glare on it, but there's a board which several members of the church have been working on now for months, and it's not completed. It is not done. But you see, it's called Our Church Community. And what it is that as people, you might have had this happen to you, as people are leaving the church building from worship, we've been stopping them and asking them to let us take their picture. And so we have been collecting, long before this situation, we've been collecting this wonderful directory of pictures. Well, I hope you can see them. There's a, now the camera's going to overreact. I have a little tablet here in my lap, which is sort of like the director. And I thought maybe I would try to zoom in close enough that you might be able to see. Look at the glare on that. I wish it was less. Ooh, there it's really bad. So what I've started doing when I come to the building every day is I started going to this very, very helpful array, and I've been looking at your pictures. And I've been thinking about you. Thinking about how you are part of what this church is. I'm saying prayers for you. Prayers for the circumstances that I know about in your lives. And in doing that, I feel like it's more intentional. It's amazing to me. I feel more connected to you. A few months ago, I confessed to the session that we had to do something because we were adding so many new members that I was losing the race to remember your names. Faces and circumstances, I can do that easily. But names of people has to be intentional for me. It has to be very intentional. So, growing out of that, a wonderful photographer in the church, Ziggy and her sister Lottie, have been taking these pictures, and not just taking them, but they printed them and framed them, and then the committee of session then put everyone's name at the bottom. And so I used to come in here, and some of you do this too, and just work on memorizing people's names. But now I can come in here and I can think about you, your circumstances. I can wonder how you are, pray for you, engage in caring thoughts and connections for you. It's just a wonderful, wonderful way for me to nurture, to take care of my relationships to you. So I'm very grateful for the existence of this helpful document. One thing I'm aware of is there's a lot of you that aren't on this yet. So then after I'm through with this, then I go through and I make up a list, or look at my list every day of who's not here yet. And then I say, well, as soon as we get back together, and we will, we need to complete this because it's so helpful to me. And I'm sure it is to those of you who stopped by when you had a chance on Sunday mornings or during the week and you look and you check people's names. It's so embarrassing to have been sitting next to somebody in church for, 5 weeks, 5 months sometimes, and you haven't remembered their name, and after 5 months you can't ask anymore. So here's a place that we're trying to just simply deepen our commitments to each other, to deepen what it means to be a church in a time when relationships, by and large, relationships are difficult to nurture. We don't run into each other. We don't come from the same community. We don't shop at the same stores, and so we don't see each other on a regular basis. I'm trying to get this camera panned back in so I don't feel like I'm off in the distance. There. So, what I wanted to say to you is today I'm going to give you some more information. If you're watching this and you're feeling the need for an individual conversation with your pastor, I'm here. I would like you to maybe start an email conversation with me. RevLouie, REVLOUIE @AOL.com. Send me an email. I get them right here on my phone. In fact, it's an allergy sneeze. Maybe even where you are right now, you want to send me a message. You can do that as well. You can send a text message to my phone. The telephone for text messages is 908-930-5705. Tell me about what's happening for you. Tell me about what's not happening for you. Talk to me about your thoughts. I have no need or effort to disagree. I just want to know, where are you? What are you doing? How are you taking care of yourselves? Are you able to work at home? One member of the church who came online yesterday informed me that she's a healthcare worker, and so she had been off. She took a week's vacation last week, but she was asking for prayers because she was going back into the hospital environment, and she was ready, but it's frightening. It's frightening because she knew she'd taken a poll, and they're under-equipped to protect themselves. They all wish they had these full-body suits with the masks and everything on that they saw in the pictures in China, and we don't have them. The hospitals here do not have them. But she's going in, and for all the medical workers, and some of you may be those medical workers, and praying for your families when you come home from those situations. And then just trying to live your life in an ordinary way these days. Overcoming feelings of loneliness or of discontentment. You can email me. I am your pastor. I often say this to families when I do a funeral. Sometimes the funeral homes will call on me to do a funeral for someone in the community, and I don't know the family, but I always ask them, will you let me be your pastor for this period of time? If you don't have a pastor, if you don't have a church, if somehow the word went out to you and you got connected to these communications or to our website, let me be your pastor. Email me, text me, and we'll start a conversation. I also would like to know, some of you have been a part of my regular Bible studies, and I would like to know from you today, I would like to get an email from you today, if you want to join in a new format for the Bible studies. I've been working this past week learning how to use Zoom. It's an amazing online party, but it allows for complete interaction back and forth. And for those of you who are watching this, if you have an email address and you send me an email that says, I'd like to be in, what I'll do is I will invite you to join in those conversations. I'm not going to, I can't send out an invitation to all 350 emails that we have, but I'd like to know if you're interested. We will get it set up. I can start it with 5 or 6 people who want to join in. I'm considering starting, we'll see how many episodes I can do. I would pick up with the Bible study that had been going on, and we'll begin reading at the beginning of Joshua, which is a good place to break and begin. So we'll start with the reading of Joshua, and then for what was the Wednesday morning class, we'll pick up Job. We'll start in a Bible study of Job. And I think it's worth, even though the class has kind of gone into the 5th or 6th chapter, I think it's worth backing up over, because the first 2 chapters especially can be somewhat challenging. Just not because it's hard to hear what's being said, but it's hard to take it in, to incorporate it into our lives, how God acts and how Job acts and how his friends act. And anyway, the conversation can go anywhere we want it to go if we're on Zoom. And then when you send your email in, send me some suggestions for what time of day, what would be best for the time of day for these things. I don't know how your lives are organized. If you're working at home, is there a better time? I picked 2 o'clock for these chats because I had no idea. The Bible studies will be recorded, so even though there'll be live participation, you can still go back and come in for the one that you miss. But I don't know, should we do it in the morning? Should we do it in the evening? Send me an email, tell me that you want to be invited, tell me when you think the times will work for you, or when it might work for others, and we'll take this week as having that be a beginning for that. My hope is that today, this Monday, with all the uncertainty of the future, that you'll find comfort today. That you'll find comfort. It's a rainy day. It's a good day for getting caught up on sleep. Making telephone calls. Thank you to our callers from the church for reaching out to people and making contacts. If you get more than one call from the church for you, it's not because we've heard bad news. It's because we're just doing the best we can do, what we believe will be helpful to tell you. We love you, we care about you, and you're very important to who we are as a church. So that's it for today. I'm going to say a prayer as we close. You have shown us, O God, that even though we look like separate individuals, that we belong to each other. We belong to each other. We belong to you, and we human beings, we belong to each other. We are part of each other. We have all come from one, and we are all one in our humanness. And so today, we pray that you help us to lean on that oneness, even if we're alone, even if we've been alone in our house for days. That you help us to realize that we're never alone, never. And give us the wisdom and the strength to do what we can do, to wash our hands, to stay at home as much as we can possibly, and to encourage others to do the same. It's a new step of our discipleship. It's a new step of following you, but we believe we follow you to life, and we believe this is a pathway to life and love. Be with us, O God. Bless us, strengthen us in all that we do today and always. Amen. I'll see you at the same time tomorrow, my friends. Thank you.